Hey Aquarius, welcome back to Deku Tarot and long time no see. I know it's been a minute. I'm gonna probably say that at the beginning of all of my videos, but as you guys know, I took a little break from social media. 2020 and 2021 were a lot. Started to hit that Saturn return, had a lot going on, and so I felt it was time to step back for a while. And if we need to know more about that, maybe we can talk about it on Instagram, but really I just want to get right into your reading. We're using the Cosmic Tarot by Norbert Loesch for you guys. We might also use the Michael Ulrich Tarot, we'll see. But, so yeah, let's get into this mid-November energy. It's been a lot this month, huh? We've kind of been dragged through it. I feel that Scorpio season really dragged us through a really deep, it's almost like it dragged us through a very deep place. I mean, as it always does for everyone. And for you guys, it really hit you, as it usually does, especially for you Aquarius risings, in your 10th house of career, of legacy, how the public sees you, all of that. So if you haven't been feeling kind of jaded, lost, confused, seeking more, needing more about your career, I'd be very surprised. Because there's been a lot of astrology that's really thrown that into your face of why do you feel so attached with doing things you know, are clearly not that happy doing. You don't have to keep doing something you don't want to do because it makes everybody else happy. And because it makes sense, because you're attached to it, and it's in your nature to get really fixed on something and not let it go. Because let's be honest, people love to say that Tauruses and Scorpios are maybe like the most stubborn of the zodiac and their fixed modalities. Guess what, Aquarius and Leo? You guys are just as stubborn. We all get very stuck and very stubborn. It's our modality of being fixed. It's an issue for all of us, so don't think that we're above it because we're an air sign and we're not going to see it that way. Just because we say things differently are different does not mean that we don't get stuck in our own fixed modalities and fixed mindsets of what we are supposed to be. Maybe you've wanted to be this thing your whole life and it made sense to go into it and you went into it and now you're doing it, but it doesn't feel the same. And it's exhausting you. Eight of Swords makes you feel like you're trapped in something that you can't really get out of. I put myself in this position, so I might as well stick it out and stay here. You don't have to do that. I just want to let you guys know you don't have to stay. You don't have to do that. And this month is really going to highlight what is it that you're going to do about this. Because we've had, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at all my astrology notes because this is a really, really big month astrologically. Let's talk about that for a second. We are getting to this point of this new round of eclipses that are going to be in fixed signs, Taurus and Scorpio, fellow fixed signs. And that's going to hit in some really, really big areas. Because again, Uranus and Taurus is going to be in your, Uranus is kind of your sign. So it's very different. It's about shaking things up. It's about doing something different. And it's, we've had these really interesting moments where Uranus has been opposing or squaring different planets this month, especially Mercury and Mars. And it's brought up addressing really something very specific and a real intense need to shake that up and to change that in a very different way. Sudden changes in career, again, because Mars is also, like I said, with all this Scorpio energy in your 10th house where it sits, it's like you really want to change these bigger life topics, these bigger life focuses in your life, especially again in terms of career, what you do, how the world sees what you're doing. So what are you going to do with that? It's a lot, right? And then we also have we have Venus entering into, excuse me, I'm about to choke there. I didn't want to start coughing on you guys. But we have Venus entering Capricorn this month into your 12th house. She has gone into shadow on the same day that we had that eclipse, that lunar eclipse in Taurus. And we also had this Mars opposite Uranus moment here. So that was a really big purge moment for you of realizing, I gotta change some things. I gotta change some really big things here, because Uranus is in your 4th house as well at this time. So we have all this change of, you know, how our life looks to others, how our life looks at home, how career looks to us within and on the outside. So there's a lot of need to shake this up, and a lot of this isolating feeling that you're just tired of having. I feel like a lot of you feel extremely isolated, stuck, and like, I have to keep doing it this way. Oh, wow. I really love this for you guys. This is like, you're done with the nostalgia of, this is what I've always wanted to be. So for some of you, I mean, like, we're just going to use this as an example. Maybe you wanted to be a doctor your whole life, and that was your dream, to help people, to be a pediatrician, to be a teacher, whatever. Let's go with the doctor thing though. Maybe that was your dream, and now that you're doing it, you're finding that it's like not, you're kind of feeling done with it. You feel like, am I really supposed to do this forever? The 6 of Cups reverse feels, especially with the King of Swords, we're very aware of the nostalgic hold that this has on us. Sorry about that, my phone was ringing. But 6 of Cups reverse, King of Swords upright is very, there's a cold, clear knowledge of what this nostalgic, this need to fulfill this nostalgic desire within us, something that, again, like, it's like a nostalgic goal from childhood. Yes, it might have been feeding your inner child to a certain point, but as an adult, as who you are now, are you feeling fulfilled? Are you feeling happy? Are you enjoying what you feel that you know, for a lot of you, feel like you were fated to do? You don't have to do that forever. People change, careers change, and what we enjoy changes. And if the sun is reversed there in the center of all this, your ego and how people view you and, you know, what you're doing is very tied up in this. So why does it matter so much what we look like to everybody else, and if we fit that mold that everybody else expects us to fit? Why is that so important? If you keep trying to do something without truly enjoying it, without truly feeling also confident in yourself, feeling like, because it's almost like you have all this potential, yes, in this thing that you're doing, in this path that you're on, this career, but it's almost like it feels dead to you. You're like, I don't know, I don't really want to go for it, I don't really want to try it. I'm kind of feeling done. I'm kind of feeling emotionally jaded. Like, things that I loved and things that I saw as something so beautiful and amazing are now things that I fear, that give me anxiety, that give me stress, and that make me not want to show up to work, show up to this situation. The fears are going to come out. Because again, Venus is retrograding in your 12th house. Again, this is mostly, if I'm talking about houses and things like that, assume I'm talking about you as Aquarius risings. That's just something that we should all know with astrology, especially when we're listening to readings and we're trying to get the astrology from it. That's going to be the 1st house. I'm talking about 1st house Aquarians or Aquarius risings. So with all of this 12th house energy entering Venus for you, which is all about pleasure, enjoyment, creativity, things that you love, you're going to find yourself really questioning, what is it that I love to do? What is it that I enjoy doing by myself as well as in terms of work? Ooh, I knew you were coming up. Okay, we're going to pull, actually with the Michael Ulrich, I feel it as well. But you don't want to fight anymore. It's like, this is exhausting. I don't want to do this anymore. This has become so tedious. This has become so much that I can't Scorpio season has really shown you how this is emotionally draining for you. Because after that moon reverse, we get these two. The 8 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands reversed. I don't want to deal with all the little bullshit things that I've had to deal with. I don't want to deal with people like telling me how they feel about what I'm doing and about, you know, what they want me to do, because that's going to be big when you start to decide, this is what I want to do instead. Maybe I want to go towards something else. People will doubt you. And they'll say, Aquarius, what are you doing? You've always been like, you were always going to be a doctor. You were always going to be a pediatrician. You were always meant to do this. Like, you're so good with kids. You're so good at science. You're so good at this. Yeah, it doesn't mean that I want to do it forever. It doesn't mean that I love it. It doesn't mean that I'm enjoying this anymore. Because people are allowed to change. You are allowed to change what you enjoy doing. You are allowed to change how you want to be perceived and how your career looks to not just you, but to everybody else. You're allowed to change, okay? You don't need to have an excuse. You don't need to explain that to anybody else. Sometimes the chapter just ends and you're kind of feeling done and you want to do something else. There's this real energy that you'll be able to release as we enter Sagittarius season, okay? It's going to really highlight, I mean, like, it's almost like you're going to start bringing this to certain friends. And if people aren't supportive, you know, screw them. Screw them, get out. Like, they obviously have reasons to either not be supportive or to question you. It's going to be a hard walk away from some friendships in your life right now as well. Because as you change, you wouldn't want to see the people around you change as well. You're going to start, you know, getting a little bit more fed up in Sag season, where it's more 11th house focus, about the people around you that don't support you, that hold you back, that stop you from going for the things that you really want to do, and that don't seem to listen to how you really feel about something, and only seem to care about what that means for them. Ooh, this is kind of like the Libra reading right there. It's kind of what I got. But for a lot of you, you're kind of done with being treated that way. You're done with feeling, like you've come so, like, we've done so much to try to make this work and to try to be happy, and yet it feels like what do I do? Five of Pentacles reversed, Temperance reversed is very much like, what have I learned from this? I just want to get out of the cold and be done with this. I want to be done with this whole thing of feeling like I've been left out of everything, and it's like this slow, cold walk away from it. It's like you reach this point where you're just like, let's get this going a little faster. Let's do this. But again, when that starts to happen, I want to say, don't rush yourself through this process. Do not rush yourself through this process, because your first card out, your overall energy, is very prospecting. Decide where you're going, where you want to take this energy, where you want to head, okay? To figure out where it is you want to go. And to do that, you're going to need to not look at, oh, this is a big message. Whoa, okay. This is coming through like really strong. Yeah, I need to use this deck for it. There it is. There's the root. Okay. You can't see this as a failure. Failure. Oh my God. Okay. I see it now. Okay. That's really where we're getting caught up. I'm like, there is like a real block here for you guys, and I don't see how we're getting past this. But it's like, you guys need to, yeah, you got to let go of this. It's like you're holding on to this so tightly, and you've been doing it for so long. That's all you know how to do. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is like my identity. It's my identity. And everyone's like, yeah, it's your identity. But you're going to start to question and look at yourself and say, why have I made my career and what I'm doing with my life such a big part of my identity that seems a little bit, that doesn't really give me room to change, doesn't really give me room to grow. And how you feel about failure involving work and what people are going to think about that is so big in this. You're so afraid that everyone's going to look at this, and that you yourself are going to look at, walking away from something that is just, it's not giving you what you want and need anymore. So why would you keep, putting effort and energy and everything into it when it feels so, time after time, it's just like you feel attached to this through this obligation of nostalgia that you, as you enter Sag season, I think are going to have the ability. I'm not going to say I'm going to force you to do it, because I don't think all of you will be able to break free from this. I'm telling you this because I want you to, and I think it would benefit you, and I think that it would be a lot healthier and you'd be a lot happier to seek out something that that is more for you because you've outgrown this, and that's just what this is you're done, and you don't owe it anything else, and you don't need to see it as a failure. If the way that humans really look at failure and how we perceive, you know, giving up on something, or, you know, not doing well in something, you know, you put all your effort, energy into something, you don't see something come back, and you don't see, you know, what you expected to come back, you shouldn't see that as a failure. So that's just life. That's just life sometimes. Sometimes you can do that and it doesn't mean anything, and that's okay. You can take that energy and now move on to something else. But it's where you get stuck on that in your head, where you see that kind of stuff as a failure, that will hold you back. And that has held you back from letting something go, that you're so like, you have to hold on to this. It's like, if I don't hold on to this, what happens? What happens to who I am and what I'm doing and how everybody perceives me? Then will I be Aquarius the doctor anymore? Or will I, maybe I don't know, what are people going to be okay with seeing me as Aquarius, like the artist, or Aquarius, you know, the writer, Aquarius going back to school because we don't know what we want to do. And that's okay. Whatever, like, you have big changes that you know need to be made, and these are not to be rushed, first of all, but there is a real sense of freeing you up and knowing that as you let this go, you do not need to see your ability to walk away from this and to seek out something else as a failure. You might be like, I put my whole life and time and energy into this. It's such a failure if I left it now. It is not. I don't know how to like say this any other way. It is not. It is not. These are values and beliefs that you have probably been brought up with. And you need to let that go. And you just see this for exactly what it is. Justice. You need to see the whole truth here. The whole truth is that you don't owe this situation anything. You don't owe your continuing to do something that you're not happy doing to anyone. I don't really know how to say this any other way. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse by saying that. But make executive decisions. Like, take the emotion out of it. Take your ego out of it. Take what you feel you must be projecting yourself as out of this, and you will see this thing very differently. You might feel, like I said, like this is some huge loss and that everyone's got something negative to say about it. But you know what? It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. This one came out, you know, all over the place. I don't know, upright or reverse for the Five of Swords. But it's like, and it's actually both of these. Let's talk about it in this way. Neither of them upright nor reversed. Do you want to keep losing? Do you want to keep being in this position so that you can be like this internally? No, I don't think so. Like, do you want to keep hanging yourself out to dry and getting ready to, like, you know, be stabbed in the back and being hurt again and again, just so you can emotionally feel like just completely drained out, like there's nothing within you? Do you want to be an empty shell? Or do you want to say, okay, cool, like, you all want to see this as a loss, I don't really care, I'm pulling those swords out because I refuse to be putting myself in a position, I refuse to put myself in a position that is only fighting, discordance, people screaming at me, putting me down, and things that I feel like every day just lead to that feeling of loss that the Five of Swords is taking from me. This is taking more from you than you are getting from it, so it's time to recognize where this lies and how important this is to you. All right, we're done with that. We're gonna be done with that conversation. In terms of love, I just feel like a lot of you are going to be in this place of needing to step back this month because we have so much 12th house energy that we're going into now, and as we move into Sagittarius season, which actually I think I'm reading this on the first day of Sag season. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But there's a real sense of newness and that you're preparing for, really. And as you go into this 12th house energy with Venus, and then slowly more things move into that within Sagittarius and then Capricorn season, you're going to find yourself needing to take time out for yourself, to step back, to be alone, to isolate and focus internally a little bit more. Okay? And that's really what I feel for you guys in those things. Because for some of you, especially in terms of love, we're evaluating the heartbreak that we've been through, and we're not ready to step out on that one yet. We're not ready to do anything yet. We haven't really moved. Ooh, there goes my timer for my bread. The Three of Swords reversed and the Six of Swords reversed. In order, like, it's almost like you're stuck in this loop of pulling these swords out and evaluating it. And it's going to be a bit rough this month in terms of that. So let's just talk about that for a second. You're going to feel like, how do I move on? Like, I feel like I'm healing from this heartbreak yet. I feel like I can't move on from it yet. I feel like I'm not ready to move forward. I feel like there's still something to gain or glean or understand from this situation. And you might be right. Just take your time, though. I don't want to say hold on to something so tightly when it's not feeling... Ooh. Right? But this is kind of this moment for a lot of you. Maybe you've been through, because again, I haven't read for you guys in a minute, but it looks like for a lot of you, you've been through some rough breakup energies or big endings of things that you thought were moving in a very different direction. And you have to allow yourself to feel the loss of that. I feel like for some of you, you're realizing this can't be repaired. And it's time for me to move forward in a different direction. I don't know. It's almost like, for some of you, I don't want to say it looks like a relationship ending. For a lot of you, for some of you, maybe it was a really big fight. But in terms of relationships, I mean, we get the 3 of Wands reversed, 10 of Swords reversed, and then the 5 of Cups. So when I see that, I feel like we're in this moment of dawn. Again, dawn breaking over this very painful horizon. I feel like, yes, we're slowly pulling these swords out, and we're slowly accepting the ends that have happened. But the 5 of Cups doesn't look so sad in this deck. I like to see him as kind of being a little bit more positive in the, yes, all these other cups are down, but I think I'm okay with not knowing where this is going right now. If this can be healed, if this can get better, if I can move past this onto something better. And I think that you guys don't need to force any of that right now. If anyone is trying to force you into some type of relationship decision, whatever, it's like you're not ready for that. You have to work through this. Otherwise, it could force you to make, not force, but it could trigger you to make some poor decisions about a relationship that you're kind of on the cusp of right now that will become very nightmarish for you in the future and will stress you out, and you'll wonder, is this the right decision? Did I do this at the wrong time? I'm not really sure. There's that 9 of Swords right there. When I see that come up, there's a lot of anxiety, worry, and feelings that, what did I do? Is this the right move? I don't know if I did this right. Oh my God, oh my God. 7 of Swords reversed. You will see that this worry isn't for nothing. I don't want to I know it sounds like really shady, and I don't like saying that, but the 7 of Swords did just come flying up, like reverse, which to me is a big reveal about something that we've been extremely concerned and stressed about, something that we've been very worried about. And it will force you to make some cold-hearted decisions. I don't want to be like it, because again, I don't want to frame it in one specific way, but it's hard for me to ignore what's like sitting in front of my face right here. Because I feel like this has been kind of a tough reading. I don't want it to be tougher, but I think when that 7 of Swords comes out with that King of Swords, with like the sword through the heart, it's kind of like what you find out, Aquarius, I think is going to be very like, I just pulled all these goddamn swords out. I just went through the 10 of Swords. I'm just going through all of this, and now you're going to throw this at me too? Like, okay, well, like, bye. Because I don't want to deal with this. It's like that, like, honestly triggers you into a more cold, righteous, and able to do the cutting that you couldn't do before place. That I think is really, really great for you guys, okay? Because then you get the Hierophant in the World reverse, and it's like, I'm looking for something deeper, something more, I don't want to say traditional, itchy nose, but for some of you, it's like, I told you where I'm at, are you kidding me? Like, we've been through this, and now you're going to do this, like, okay, bye. Or you know what, I'm fucking done. You clearly aren't getting the message. It's like this epic, I don't want to say epic miscommunication, but it's like what they are doing and saying and whatever you find out is so opposite to like what you were like, I thought we were here. Are you kidding me? Like, I've been true blue up to this point, and now you just wanna, okay, bye. So for love, we could find things out that really force us to make some big decisions of like, okay, yeah, that person is like, bye, like I'm done. You will have karmic situations come up. And you will really also have to look at how compatible you are with this person, and if you're just doing this because it feels comfortable and it's feeding you at this moment. It's giving you something now, and it's making you feel good right now, and it's making you feel like you're loved. Or again, maybe this is like an ex and you're just trying to make this work, but there's this moment of judgment, and I think that a lot of you guys are going to make the decision that you're just done. And I'm going to be real with you on that, because judgment shows up, and there's a lot of other cards that shows you being done, and also really looking at your circumstances and saying, maybe I actually need to be alone. Maybe I actually haven't done that, and that's exactly what I need to do. So for a lot of you, I would suggest, as you go into Sag season, as we get into December, to take a lot of steps back in these areas and reevaluate and really look at what you want and your relationship to what you perceive as failure in relationships and in career, because seeing anything as a failure is the only failure to that is the fact that somebody taught you to look at life and love and career and what you enjoy as that. That's a fault and a failure on them, because that's messed you up. You don't need to see this stuff as a failure. You don't need to see changing as a failure. You don't need to see putting yourself and your happiness and your enjoyment and comfortability and what you actually want first as a failure. All right, let's end it there. All right, I love you guys so much. I don't want that to feel like that intense. It's just, I mean, this is a month for everybody. I just want you to know it's not been like a pleasant woo-ree for anybody. I think we're going to be in this kind of energy for a minute, so let's just bear with it. I do think you have a lot of power, though, this month to take your life exactly where you actually want it to go, and where you will be much happier than where you are now, with much better people around you. This is like a real clearing out moment for you, and it's very beautiful. So I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of November and into December, and I will see you in the December readings. If you guys want to book a private reading with me, all my information on booking is below. I'm not taking on too many right now, so just make sure to email me first to make sure that I have availability from now until the end of the year, because we're going to start picking up on those. So if you do want to start booking them from now to the end of the year, it's a really good time to do so while I still have a little bit left. Do remember to subscribe and follow me on Instagram at DQTarot, and I'll see you guys in December.